Hello everyone and welcome to or back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Amelia and I do fitness, fashion, beauty, lifestyle content. So I may look the same as my previous video and that's because it's the same day, but we move. I'm just being productive today, guys. Anyway, today's video is quite an important one. It is about how I got my period back after 8 years of hypothalamic amenorrhea. It's been a long journey, to say the least. It's been a long journey. I just want to do a disclaimer here. I'm not professional. I'm just basing these tips I'm going to be giving you on my experience and what's helped me. So please remember that absolutely everyone is so different. And if some things don't work for you, then don't feel confused. It is really just such a complex problem to try and resolve. So I really would advise to seek a doctor, but also at the same time, if you do want to do it your own way, in a holistic way, then go for it. And I hope these tips can help you. I also just want to note that not having a period is really something to be concerned about, and I don't want to scare anyone who may be watching this and, you know, hasn't had their period for ages. But I do just want to emphasize that because I didn't really prioritize my menstrual cycle for a very long time, and I've had to deal with the repercussions because of that. And one thing I can tell you is that not having your period is a sign of your body shutting down, like literally shutting down. So definitely take it as a sign and prioritize your health over everything and anything. I can tell you now, if you're choosing to have abs or to be leaner or to just be a certain size body over having a period that is a function of your body that you need, like it's an evolutionary thing, then please just think again. Abs are just not worth it. They are not worth it. And if I can, you know, prevent any of you going down that route, that's all I need to do here. Like, that's my job done. I'm telling you now from experience, I've been through it all and it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. Take my word for it. Anyway, let's get into this video. Oh, and before we do, please hit that like and subscribe button. You know the drill. It really helps me. It really does. Obviously no pressure if you don't want to do that, but it really does help. So, I didn't have my period for 8 years, and I've initially lost it when I was in secondary school. I can't remember what year I was, but yeah, it never really came back since then. Went to the doctors. I was put on the contraceptive pill. I've gone through many different contraceptive pills, and in my opinion, I just think that's a lazy thing that the doctors do to people who come to them and who are concerned about losing their period. Yes, it can protect your bones by being on the contraceptive pill. However, it really does mask the root of the problem. And obviously you're going to be bleeding when you're on a contraceptive pill, well, depending which one you have, and that's not your period. It's just blood. So it masks your real period. You don't actually know if you're at that healthy weight yet to be having a period or not. And for me, I kind of just use it as an excuse to just keep wanting abs and, you know, keep pushing back my priorities of health. And because I thought that I was getting a period, and, you know, deep down I knew that wasn't a period. So that was my situation, and I came off the pill in November 2018. Like, yeah, I didn't get a period after that, obviously, because I was still not at a healthy weight, and I was on the pill for a good like 4 years. So that was annoying. I really could have like dealt with everything that I've had to deal with the past couple of months a lot sooner, but we move, no regrets. If you are on the contraceptive pill, or if you've been put on the contraceptive pill by a doctor to get your period back or to solve the problem, just remember that it's not solving the problem. It really isn't. It's masking the problem. So you got to persist with the doctors. You got to push them. You've got to really show your urgency and your commitment to getting your period back. So what has helped me is, the main thing for me, reduce your stress. So this hovers many different points. I'm going to start with one of the points being a calorie deficit. So you don't want to be in a calorie deficit. That is putting a lot of stress on your body. So that's why they say that increasing those calories, being in that surplus, is a way to reduce the stress on your body as a general point. I'm not going to run down my whole history. You can watch that in any of the other videos that I've put up if you want any more context or background. But I obviously pushed my calories up way past a point that I ever thought I could. I had to consistently do that for a good 7 months before my period finally returned. I don't know when it was a point when my body was happy, but throughout the entire process, it was all coming down to the one thing that was reducing the stress on my body and reassuring my body that it is going to be getting the fuel that it's been wanting for so long. You need to reassure your body that it's going to be safe. It's not obviously not going to bring back your period if it needs to prioritize other things like surviving. You need to keep it in a safe place and continue upping those calories. And I know it's scary, and I know you probably think, when is this going to end? Like, there's no end. I can't see an end point because there's no signs of my period coming back. But you just have to keep going. It is a long process, and it is very frustrating at times because you just think nothing's working. But I promise you, if you just keep sticking at it, it will come, I promise you. It may take less time for you than it has done for me, or more time. So that's why I say never compare yourself. Like I said, I'm not professional, but I've heard many people saying, and doctors included, saying that you have to eat minimum 2,500 calories in order for your body to kind of feel somewhat safe. And for me, it took 2,800 calories. So like I said, again, everyone's different. That's just kind of putting it into perspective a bit. So if you're eating like 2,000, you're thinking, God, I'm eating so much, why is it not coming back? Maybe that could be why, we don't know. But yeah, take that into account. My next point that comes under reducing your stress is stopping all cardio. Again, something that is really scary, I know. I used to be a cardio queen, not anymore. And that was definitely something that was really holding me back. I know for sure, because I was doing HIIT workouts like 4 times a week. And I can't imagine the amount of stress that I was putting on my body, alongside being in a calorie deficit, alongside a ridiculous amount of steps, alongside lack of sleep. Like, wow, my body was under a lot of stress. Yeah, so you just got to reduce your cardio, really. This doesn't mean stop walking or stop doing your daily commute, which may be cycling, I don't know. It's just, if you are doing a lot of intense cardio, that kind of needs to stop. One thing I want to say is short-term sacrifices for long-term gains. Keep reminding yourself that, because that's how I kind of got through it. The gym, exercise, HIIT, whatever it is that you are so passionate about, running, anything like that, if that is something that you can stop temporarily, then do it. It will always be there, but your health won't always be there, and your health is kind of up against the clock. Exercise isn't. Short-term sacrifices for long-term gains. That's what you got to tell yourself. Put your health first now, and then once you do that, you can slowly incorporate the running or whatever it is that you loved to do before back into your life, as long as it's not being used in a negative way. Yeah, so I was doing so much dance, I was doing HIIT workouts, you know, I was doing it all. So I cut that all back completely, literally cut it all back. It wasn't in a gradual way, I just stopped. I continued going on my walks, like nothing drastic, nothing crazy. I was still doing under 10k steps, but I was still moving my body, and that was plenty. Like, that was more than enough. I think walking is such a good way to still be active and also not take it too far. The next little point that comes on to reducing your stress is prioritizing sleep. And I know this sounds so boring, and you probably hear it all the time, and I always would just hear it and be like, yeah, well, sleep isn't that important. Like, it's not as important as people are saying. I was so wrong. Wow. I don't think people realize how much happens when you sleep, but there's a podcast, and there's also a lot of books actually that's like why we sleep, what goes on in that, and I would really recommend just reading an article, even if it's just something really short, just to gain more insight into why sleep is so incredibly important. And I neglected it for many years, so I prioritize sleep. And you know, some nights I'd have late nights, but in general I'd be going to bed a lot earlier, or I'd be waking up a lot later, whatever it is. But yeah, prioritize sleep, guys, promise. And that leads me on to my next point, which is reducing my caffeine. So caffeine is a stimulant, and I know many people ask, like, why have you reduced your caffeine? Like, what has that got to do with it? I'm not an expert, but I do know that it is a stimulant, which is just an unnecessary form of stress being put on your body again. And like I said, stress is like the main thing that we need to reduce. So you don't want to be having caffeine when you're wanting to be reducing your stress. I just had coffee, but it was decaf, and there is caffeine in it, but there's a lot less caffeine in it. So I had decaf, and I didn't have it every day. It was just when I really wanted it. And I still had chocolate. Like, chocolate has caffeine in it, guys. I still had chocolate, but it's just tweaking things here and there. And I can't tell you what was like the main thing. even if there was one, I don't know if there was a main thing that helped me get my period back, or if it was just a collection of everything that I've done. Reducing caffeine could have worked, or it may not have worked. It could have just been something that I didn't need to do, but it got me my period in the end with all these factors incorporated. So something to take note. Again, I would research, go on Google Scholar and look at some studies, or maybe like meta-analyses and things like that, just to educate yourself a bit on why caffeine may be a contributor to your HA. But yeah. Okay, next point is reducing my sweeteners. So again, another thing that may have worked, may not have worked, I don't know, but it is a foreign substance in the body at the end of the day. And when something foreign is needing to be digested in the body, it's gonna cause more stress on your digestive system, which again is increasing your overall stress on the body. So it comes back to reducing your stress, and we don't want to be adding more stress into the body. So I just reduce my sweeteners. You know, I do have a lot of sweeteners in things like, because I have a lot of protein powders, I have a lot of bars, stuff that has artificial ingredients in it, and it was something that I needed to do just to gain my overall health and my gut health and everything like that as well. I didn't cut it all out because I don't agree with things like that. I don't agree with cutting a whole food group or whatever it is out of your diet. I just think being mindful about it, and that's what I did. I just was mindful. I wouldn't have sweeteners in my coffee if I was having a decaf coffee, or I would have honey on my yogurts instead of my flav drops, things like that. I was just doing tweaks here and there where I could. You know, I was still satisfied, like I didn't struggle with that. I would still have protein bars here and there, like, you know what I mean? So it's just reducing it, it's not completely cutting it out. Again, something to be mindful of if you are someone who has a lot of artificial ingredients in your foods and your diet and everyday life. Just, you know, see if you can substitute it with something that's actually like real, like, you know, raw, real sugar. You can have that instead of an artificial sweetener. Maybe it's something that's probably good in your, like, for your mental health as well, just to try and avoid going down a hole of being scared of sugar or things with calories in it as opposed to artificial sweeteners with 0 calories in it. Yeah, that's another little point. Then my last point of reducing stress is journaling. So I would actually meditate for about literally 5 minutes in the morning, in the evening, whenever I kind of fancied, and I would journal. So let me get my journal. So I would journal in this book every morning and night, and it's actually so good. It's from Amazon, literally called the 5-minute journal. Basically have a little quote at the top, and then it will have little sections, little points that you do in the morning, and then at night you would fill that out as well, reflecting on your day. And it was just something that really kind of reduced the little brain fog that I'd have. When you get it out on paper, it really does make a difference. Some people may just see it as like a little gimmick, but I really do believe that journaling, even if it's 5 minutes, it can make all the difference. I would recommend this book, or any kind of journal book that you find that you like. And meditating, yes, so I would literally do 5-minute meditations on, I'd find like this woman on Spotify. I'll try and link her down below. She does really good short meditations, and it just kind of relaxes me a bit. So now I'm gonna talk a bit about supplements, any supplements that I was taking. Again, supplements aren't the be all or end all, they just supplement your diet. Some things will work, some things won't, we don't know. But for me, I took magnesium and zinc. I will link them below. But magnesium, again, I'm not an expert, but the HPA axis, basically it sends signals to the brain to say multiple different things, but one of them is to initiate your period, and the HPA axis is important for that. So magnesium and zinc will kind of support the HPA axis and the signals and the functions. And then I took an inositol. So this was something that I hadn't heard of before, but a lot of you guys were recommending it to me when I was asking for any like tips or help to get my period back. And I've discovered that I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's something that helped me or not, but I took it, and some people said that it's mainly for people who have PCOS. I don't know if I have PCOS or not, but yeah, mainly it's for people with PCOS. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. So just do your research. You know, it didn't hurt me in any way, like by taking it. You know, you may as well try it out. So yeah, I'll link that below as well. And I just took about, I think it was 3 grams a day. It was just like one of the scoops that were in the packets whenever I remembered, and it should really be every day, but you know, we move. So that's kind of everything that helped me, but I do mainly think it is the reducing your cardio completely and increasing the calories. I think those two things are like the main things you need to focus on and stick at. You can't be doing 3-month tries or a week or whatever. You have to really commit. I know it's scary, but like I said, short-term sacrifices, long-term gains. Okay, guys? Just keep repeating that in your head. So the signs that I was getting before my period, I got it back in April. I remember I got it back when I was at work. No, or was it March? I know it was April when I was working in an office. I know, right? And I got it back in the toilets, and I literally was like so happy. Anyway, the signs that I got before were my massive swollen breasts. Oh my god. It felt like I was pregnant. I can't even express how painful they were. Again, some people may not get this, but I really was feeling a lot of swelling in my breast. They kind of doubled in size, and they were just really tender, and yeah, they were really painful. That happened for about 5 days before. Another sign that I got was spots. You know, it's hormones, they're going to be going everywhere. Spots is just a signal of crazy hormones, and I don't know if you can see, but I've just got a massive breakout around my chin, and that is where I broke out, so around my chin area. But at the same time, I am just acne prone, so I don't know, but it kind of just, yeah, it did get worse around that time. Also, lots of emotion. I was crying a lot for different things. Some things I didn't need to cry about, some things, you know, it was expected that I'd cry, but happy, sad tears, both. Yeah, I was just emotional. And then another thing I was dealing with was bloating and water retention. So I have noticed there's a correlation between my bad body image days and my period coming. So I honestly had really bad body image days, like a few days running up to get my period, which explains why I had a lot of water retention, a lot of bloating, and I just looked quite different. And then obviously with my emotions on top of that, it just wasn't a good mix. But yeah, you just go with it, guys. You just roll, you just ride the wave. You ride the wave. And then another sign that I got was increased hunger. Guys, I was literally a bottomless pit. The one thing I want to say is that I honoured that. Like, I honoured my hunger. I didn't restrict. I didn't hold back. I honoured that. If I kept wanting food after having 3 other snacks before, after lunch, I would still be having another snack. Like, I ate and ate until I was satisfied, and thank God I did, because it helped a lot. And you know, it's just your body doing its thing. Obviously my body hasn't had a period for 8 years. Of course it's going to react some way, and this is how it reacted, and I'm going to honour that. I'm going to respect my body. I now want to kind of talk about my experiences post getting my period back. So, oh my god, I didn't realise what HA was doing to me. One thing, you know, we're all girls here, maybe not, but we're all a family here. You know, nothing's TMI. My libido really increased, well, in comparison to what it was like before. I really thought that I was like broken as a person because I just didn't get any sex drive. I just wasn't feeling it, you know, I just didn't have a libido, guys. And that was definitely for being the weight that I was and having HA. I think I can really vouch for that. And I didn't even notice, like I didn't even realise that that would be the reason. But now that I've experienced both ends, it is the reason for me. And yeah, I'm not broken. If you are experiencing that and you know, I'm not saying that you're broken, it's just me and my mental brain. But I really was worried that I just wasn't right in some way. And it was really affecting my confidence. Like, I can honestly, it was really affecting me. So yeah, I'm thankful to say that my libido is back. Also, guys, happiness, like when you have your period, you're just like, oh, I don't want a period. Like people complain about it all the time, but once that's taken away from you, you're literally desperate to have it. So obviously now that it's back, I am just so happy and thrilled. Everything that I was doing to lead up to this point was all worth it, and it just reconfirms everything for me. And it just makes me so happy that I've finally got to a point where my body can respect me because I'm respecting it. We're now friends. Me and my body are now friends. And I'm just more in tune with my body as well. Like, everything just makes sense now. I feel complete. I feel like I just feel my full self now. And I do think that the loss of my period was something that was really just getting on my nerves. Like, it was frustrating me so much because everything else was coming back. Everything else was great with my weight gain journey. But the one thing I wasn't still getting was my period. And that was something that was really affecting me. And because I persisted with it, because I just kept going and I kept believing and trusting the process, it's finally come back, and it's gonna stay that way. Obviously my period came back, then I thought, wow, great, this is fabulous. A lot of people, I think, would then feel like they could now not eat as many calories as they were eating, but that's really the last thing you want to do. You want to keep reassuring your body that it's safe. If your body's going to get these calories and then think, oh, okay, maybe I am safe. The body gives the period and then it then receives reduced amount of food again. The body's obviously going to think, oh, I'm not safe. I'm not going to give you a period again. So obviously in a lot more complex way. You don't want to be reducing calories. You want to keep it reassured and safe. So keep those calories high. Some people say, like, a good little general tip is to keep doing what you're doing for a good 3 months or for the duration of having 3 periods. Also, the same goes for cardio, the same goes for everything really that you were doing before. Just keep doing it. And yeah, I think that's everything I have to say. I'm just so thankful that I've finally prioritised my health and my life. There's no way I'd rather jeopardise my life for abs. That really is a situation that you put yourself in. I can't believe I put my body through 8 years of being in survival mode. Like, it was literally trying to survive. It shut down an important function of my body to try and survive, to try and keep my body alive. Yeah, so health should really be your absolute priority, guys. Regardless of whether you plan to have children or not, like, it really, like, come on, health, prolonged living. You want to be living for as long as you can. Putting your health first is the way to do that. You have to put your health first. You're watching this video and you've put it off for so long to watch this video because you know deep down that you do need to get your period back and you do need to reprioritize some things in your life. Yeah, if you're watching this, I just want to reassure you that it is the right thing to do. Health is what you need to prioritize. Not abs, not being lean, not being a body size that you see on Instagram or TV or magazines. Your health is what you need to focus on. So go get that period, huns. Go. So I'm going to finish the video there. I hope you guys gained some knowledge or gained some sort of reassurance or anything. I just hope it's something positive, and if you do have any questions, please drop them down below. And also, if you haven't already, definitely join the Facebook page that I've created, which is popping off, guys. I'm telling you, it's great. Such a positive vibe. Love it. I will link it below as well for you. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope you keep yourself healthy and safe. All right, love you guys. Mwah. I'll see you later.